Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is 6 o'clock, time to begin our January 8th meeting. At this time, we'll call ourselves to order. And the first thing on the agenda is a public comment period. And I see we have a lot of people here. And we're certainly glad you're here and welcome you here. I'm sure most of you, or a lot of you here for items 17 and 18 on the agenda. So what I'm going to do, if it's okay with the council, I'm going to move 17 and 18 to the top of the list from after the public comment period. Okay, do I have the signatures yet from the comment period? Actually, they got those from the public comment period ready. No problem. Zone in. Okay.
The comments, it's not on that, it's just a normal public comment here. It got moved to the beginning of the meetings.
All right, first I have signed. I'm going to take them as they signed up in order. Mr. Cook, seek the shortcut. We recognize you at this time. Come up, sir. If you could hold it 3 minutes, we'd certainly appreciate it, sir.
No problem.
All right.
I don't speak quite as fast as you, but I am a fast speaker.
I talk too fast.
My name is Edward L. Cook. I reside at 4621 Seacrest Shortcut Road. I addressed the council several months ago. Congratulations to those of you who are new. But yet I think I introduced myself to those of you who have won new seats, and I'm excited for that. What I want to speak about is quickly is to remind you, those that remember me and those that are new, that I'm concerned about the urban sprawl within the Seacrest Shortcut and Fowler Seacrest area that is going on right now. There are many new subdivisions being proposed, and there are some subdivisions that are on their way. I'm specifically concerned about MI's property on the corner of Fowler Seacrest and or that MI is proposing their subdivision called Mendenhall Oaks, which the irony of that is they plan to destroy every oak tree on that property. Some of those trees are over 200 years old. Again, the irony of that is those trees aren't even on any area that a street or right-of-way or any type of utilities would be, because that is how they work. They tear down everything. There are acres and acres of woods there that have a lot of animals. I know bordering our property, which this is going to go on 3 sides of our property, our 4 acres. In the woods there are at least 3 owls that I know of close to us that when those woods are gone, I don't know where they will go. I suppose they'll be pushed further out, not to mention the herd of deer and other wildlife in that area. Again, which I don't understand is their proposed subdivision, which we went to and at a community meeting with them. Their greenways, which is in the wooded area, they're tearing out completely. I don't know how that works. I don't know why they do that, but it makes no sense. At least if they were going to do that, they would say that. The builders told us a whole series of half-truths. First, they said that there would only be approximately 2.5, 3 homes per acre. That's not true. Actually, there are, for the area, there's close to 6 homes per acre where the subdivision is. They're very tiny lots. They also propose that they're going to have some brick on them, but that is just going to be on the front foundation, which will be about 12 inches on each side of the driveway and walkway, so very little. Otherwise, it'll all be, as they stated, vinyl siding. They also propose that we may want to look at a comparison for an older subdivision. They recommended we go to Waxhaw. We looked at 2 of their subdivisions that were done about a decade ago. Both those subdivisions, in my opinion, are an eyesore. They are certainly not homeowners there. They're all renters. Renters need a place, I understand. But they touted to us to find quality of homes and stuff they would be building. I'm very familiar with the area and all the subdivisions, new and old, going in. I can tell you this, that subdivision will not be anything close to a high-end, middle-class, or even basic subdivision. they're all going to become, in 10 years, by their own words, properties like that in Waxhaw. We spoke to the mayor of Waxhaw at that time, and she had strong concern about MI and their subdivision going out there, and her prediction was true. There's become a strain on the city services with police and others. When we looked at it, the properties were not maintained at all, and there were, I will finish up right now, and there were tons of cars. And the last item quickly, I'm concerned about that. I modestly estimated there would be over 300 cars, modestly speaking, brought in that small, tightly knitted subdivision. That concerns me how you guys plan to take care of that and those people. Thank you very much.
That'll be on next month's agenda.
Yes.
It'll be next month's agenda. All right, thank you, Mr. Cook. Mr. King.
Council members, ladies and gentlemen, can I put this up somewhere where,
You may.
let's see,
About that center theater sign.
I haven't used these since 1990, so everything's on the drive now.
That was an old one then.
Sorry, I don't mean to take away. Very good, thank you.
Oh, this is all.
Michelle King, 802 East Franklin Street in Monroe. The November meeting, I brought up the issue of trucks on the downtown area, specifically Franklin Street and surrounding areas, going back to trying to keep the city a walkable, pedestrian-friendly location. I think that's part of the plan that we've had in place for many, many years. The November meeting, I brought that up. Members, many of you were very supportive. I understood that this might have gone on the December agenda. I wasn't quite sure. I didn't see it as part of the public safety minutes. I did not attend that meeting. Apologies. So I'm here tonight to ask, those trucks haven't gone away. They're still on the roads, and they're still going 53 instead of 35. So I would ask again that this be brought to your attention and that you attempt to put it on a public safety committee if that's so where it's warranted. Yes, sir.
It will be on general services this month.
General services. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Loretta.
I'm Loretta Melanson, 2923 Meadow Creek Lane here in Monroe. Most of you know me as the Litter Queen, and I'm sure a lot of the audience tonight does not know me. I am the founder of Litter Busters of Union County, and I wanted to give you a summary report of our activities. I have a private DOT adoption of Olive Branch from 200 to Mallard Landing. Then from Mallard Landing to Austin Cheney, the Litter Busters have adopted. And since the adoptions, mine was about 3 years ago and Litter Busters was about 2 years ago. DOT sent me some summary figures, and I am proud to say that on my adoption we had 136 pickups, and this is mostly with my friends and neighbors who live off of Olive Branch Road and use that regularly back and forth. 332 bags of litter, 5,205 pounds of litter, and we put in 334 hours. They keep track of all of this. With Litter Busters, there were 42 pickups, and this is because we have larger groups when we do a pickup. There were 399 hours put in, 464 bags picked up, and 6,960 pounds of litter. And this is within this 2 to 3 year period. So I'm just here to remind you, council members and public, that we have a problem, not just in Monroe, but in Union County. And I have to thank you all again. And there are certain ones of you who have been tremendous supporters of what we're trying to do, the awareness we're trying to get out there. And I'm happy to say that my personal goal for 2020 is a 501c nonprofit status, because we cannot continue to do the work we want to do without funding. My pocketbook is hurting, and you know, it is worthwhile, but it's got to end somewhere. We have to get to the heart of the matter where people take personal pride, and we as a community encourage community pride. So thanks again for all your past support.
Thank you, Ms. Loretta. All right, at this time, with the council permission, I'd like to move items 17, 18 up. That would be 17 is zoning map, rezone property on Dale Street. And item 18 is zoning map amendment, request to rezone property on Old Charlotte Highway.
Mr. Mayor, in order to gather more information, I respectfully ask that we table items 17 and 18 until the February meeting,
Would it be the February or March meeting?
February.
And then would you do, could I ask you to modify your motion to be to table that without further advertising?
Table that without further advertising, yeah.
Okay, you saying table it till when?
The next meeting, February, whatever our date is.
That's the motion.
Yeah.
I have a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Folks, this will be tabled to the February meeting for gather some information that the, on the 8, 17, 18 items. And, what date is that in February?
The 5th.
February the 5th. We will hear it. Okay, moving to the consent agenda.
Mayor, give me a second, please.
Said that to get a- Well, let me say one more thing. Well, some of you are gone, but I meant to say one other thing, so, but I want y'all here. Mr. Holloway, would you work with Ground 40, and I'd asked, where is, Mr. Gore, would you work with him to work with Ground 40 and work on this particular thing and get it back in February?
I'll be glad to.
So I'm gonna ask these two people to work with Ground 40, and of course, with their board or whatever, but there will be some meetings on that, and we'll come back, on February, and we'll have that meeting, so. Hope we didn't put too much folks out, but I think there needs to be some more information. Thank you so much for your patience.
Thanks, sir.
Anthony. What's up, man? How are you? Good to see you. Yes, sir. You still doing the same thing? Talking to Jamil's at Marble Ridge now. Yeah, good to see you. Okay. Hey, cool, cool. It's good to see you.
Get a flavor.
Mainly because
Thank y'all.
That takes care of all of that. City Monroe here in South Sheen. Won't give me a road, that's a new one. Here is Fowler City.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna put them together, that goes with that.
That's
Hey, okay, John.
I got him good.
John? I ain't good.
Hey, man.
See you, buddy. Good to see you.
You're not doing this.
I go get something to eat.
18 and 18, not doing it.
Mr. Painter. Mr. Painter.
Get John.
Question, sir.
Get John.
I have a question. He's here for, I don't think he was here for that. Were you here for the property located on West East Avenue? Well, that's what I thought it goes with. They got, it was on the wrong page. I thought I was right.
Scratch them off.
Well, no, he goes with
More
it.
information.
He won't go with that.
Yes, that's why I said
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he's the only one. I'm just trying to clean it up. Okay, here is, I'll get you one, Larry. Okay, at this time, we'll go to the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. Council uses the consent agenda to consider items that are non-controversial and routine. The consent agenda is acted upon by one motion and vote of council. Items may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda at the request of a council member or citizen with the consent of council. The consent agenda contains the following items. Item 2 on the overall agenda is for the purpose of calling a public hearing to receive public comment on February 5th on the question of annexation that is requested by Timothy James Belk and Lorraine Belk to rezone property by amending the Code of Ordinances, Section 156.106 titled Official Zoning Map, and Section 156.98 titled Conditional Districts Established from City of Monroe R40 and Union County RA40 to conditional districts Stewart's Crossing, and to adopt a resolution directing the clerk to investigate a petition on the question of annexation. Item 3 is for the purpose of approving a change order for the 2019-2020 asphalt paving contract with Lynch's River Contracting, with the total project cost increasing from approximately $1.144 million to an amount not to exceed $1.287 million. Item 4 is for the purpose of approving 3 sets of budget amendments. The first concerns a $250 donation from Advanced Driver Training Services, Inc. for use by the Monroe Police Department's Explorer program. The second concerns a $1,500 grant from Omnova Solutions Foundation for youth programs. And the third is to recognize various adjustments proposed for the current budget, fiscal year 2020, for activity that was unanticipated and to maintain budgetary compliance. Amounts range from $4,000 to approximately $38,000 and include amounts for employee retirements, implementing the revised commercial cleaning contract and overtime that was incorrectly entered into the initial budget. Item 5 is for the purpose of calling 2 public hearings to receive public comments on February 5th. It involves requests to rezone property by amending the Code of Ordinances 156.106 titled Official Zoning Map, and Section 1.5698 entitled Conditional Districts Established. The first of those 2 involves rezoning property located at the corner of Seacrest Shortcut and Fowler-Seacrest Road from residential low density R40 to conditional district Mendendale Oaks. The second involves rezoning property located at the intersection of Olive Branch Road and Morgan Mill Road from General Industrial to conditional district Scotch Meadows. Item 6 is for the purpose of approving Campus Safety Officers Agreement between the City of Monroe and South Piedmont Community College, and adopting a budget amendment to provide funding for the additional police officer, in the amount of $35,500. The agreement sets forth that the SPCC will reimburse the city for 90% of the actual costs of the police officer, including salary and benefits. Item 7 is for the purpose of approving these elements associated with a new copier, printer lease, and maintenance contract. First of 3 is awarding a 48-month term lease with Head Business Systems. The second is to approve the maintenance contract for the same period. And third, to approve a budget amendment for the general fund and enterprise funds in accordance with Gatsby 87. Item 8 involves minutes and reports lettered A through K. Item 8A involves disbursements from City Council's discretionary fund. There were 2 sets of disbursements. First is Mayor Kilgore made 3 disbursements, which include the following 3 areas: Union County Crime Stoppers in the amount of $500, Union Diversified Industries in the amount of $200, and to the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Prayer Breakfast in the amount of $200. And secondly, Councilmember James made 4 disbursements, which include to the Monroe Athletic Association in the amount of $375, Community Shelter of Union County in the amount of $375, third to Turning Point in the amount of $375, and to Union County Crisis Assistance Ministry in the amount of $375. Item 8B concerns financial reports for December 2019. As a summary, I'll highlight several fund balances. First is total fund balance in the amount of $33 million, a little more than $33 million. A few subsets of total fund balance. Our fund balance reserved by policy, and that amount is $10,681,100. The unassigned general fund balance is $4.5 million. In total assigned fund balance is $3.6 million. There are 6 sets of minutes lettered 8C through H, and there are 2 sets of reports offered for informational purposes, which I'll briefly summarize. First refers to the Census 2020 Complete the Count Committee up, and there's an update. The remarks are offered as a partial summary of the full report. On September 17th, the City Council adopted a resolution to reorganize or reorganize the Monroe Union County Complete the Count Committee. Monroe partners with Union County to manage the collection of census data for our jurisdiction. The city hosted a Census 2020 Complete the Count nonprofit breakfast with approximately 25 folks attending. The session was well received, and we anticipate increased participation for homeless populations. The committee received authorization from the Federal Census 2020 headquarters to add the city's logo and other public service information to the official videos. The second report for information purposes is to call acknowledgement to the notification of a grant award from the National Recreation Park Association Instructor Training Entity that granted us a grant and provides for the training of 2 instructors to facilitate evidence-based physical activity programs at the Ellen Fitzgerald Senior Center, Winchester Community Center, and the Old Armory Community Center. Item 8K, summary of contracts awarded, change orders approved, and city manager settlement of claims. There are 25 contracts for the period totaling approximately $282,000. Item 9 is for the purpose of approving the budget amendment to accept $1,750 from Nova grants. The funds will be used to purchase smoke detectors and other public education materials and to send a fire department member to the leadership union class that's provided by the Union County Chamber of Commerce. Item 10 is for the purpose of honoring and recognizing the retirement of Police Captain Charles Mark Cohen by authorizing the award of the service side arm and adopting a resolution in appreciation for his service. Item 11 is for the purpose of approving NCDOT's offer to purchase real property of about 1/10 of an acre for the amount of $1,310. This will be used by NCDOT in the support of bridge improvements on Medlin Road near Lake Monroe. Item 12 is for the purpose of approving tax releases for the month of November in the amount of $2,629.95. It was created by a change or reduction in value for the City of Monroe by the Union County Tax Assessor. And Mayor, members of the City Council, that concludes my summary of items placed on the consent agenda for your consideration.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that'll pass. We'll go into the regular agenda at this time. Item 13, U.S. Department of Justice Bureau Assistance Grant.
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Captain David Morton with Monroe Police Department. The Police Department is seeking to receive a grant from the United States Department of Justice for the total amount of $14,518. We recommended the grant be used for the K-9 program. The grant is a zero match on the city's part.
Okay? And that's for the drug dogs.
Yep, yes, sir.
Okay? Any questions about the grant? Okay, do I have
Make a motion to
I'm sorry.
This will be public hearing.
And there's a public hearing.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, put my glasses on, I'll do that then. Okay, public hearing, anyone here who would like to speak in favor of this grant? Anyone who would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, close the public hearing and take action.
Make a motion that we move to accept the grant.
Second.
Have a motion to accept the grant of $14,000 plus. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Move to adopt the budget amendment.
Second.
No, that's grant money coming.
Well, you have to do the budget amendment. Now, this
Well, I need to wake up tonight.
Move to, adopt the budget amendment.
13.
Okay. Have a motion and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Good job, chief.
Move to authorize the city manager to execute documents.
Second.
Have a motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no opposed? Okay.
Good afternoon, members of council, manager, mayor, and Madam Clerk. My name is Teresa Campo. I'm with the Planning and Development Department, Community Development Division. I'm here to ask for approval for land acquisition for a parcel located at 205 West East Avenue. The parcel number is 09226-011, and the purpose is to promote private investment, and it's beneficial to redevelopment and revitalization. This is the aerial mapping of the parcel, and it is highlighted there in red. This is a Habitat owned property, and we were going to give them tax value on that. The director and I met with Habitat in November and went over their land parcels, and this one was not in their inventory as a buildable lot, and it is critical to us in the Concord Avenue master plan study area. This is another picture of the property and how it lays out under the GIS. And we have, these are the properties that we've already purchased that are listed there and have demolished those. And we already have completed the environmentals for those areas. And if you have any questions, then I'm here to ask if you want to adopt
One
the right to
question.
purchase that.
Okay, Habitat, says that this is a non-buildable lot.
Well, we met with them, and they said this was not in their inventory of buildable lots, but it was one in our area, and we knew that they owned it, so we asked if we could purchase it. And they went to their board, and their board did approve the sale at the tax value.
Okay, what is our proposed use for it?
This is in the Concord Avenue area remaster plan, so we would put in the land bank and reserve it for either transportation or some other economic development purpose.
How much property is there? You may have said, but I didn't hear.
The parcel itself is only .17 of an acre.
17?
And it is tax value that we're giving for it. And it's part of our unspecified site strategy for the environmental, so we save some costs with that.
Yeah, that ain't much property. You can't always park a car on .17.
No, but as you can see, that's where the overlay is coming, and it is a critical parcel for that.
Okay. Any other questions of Ms. Campbell? Hearing none, thank you. Is this a public hearing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
It is a public hearing. Anyone here who'd like to speak in favor? Hearing none. Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, take action.
Motion to approve offer to purchase and sale agreement.
I have a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that'll pass.
Motion to adopt resolution acquiring real property and authorizing staff to execute documents.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor? Okay, that will pass. Item 15, zoning map amendment request for zone property 319 East Windsor Street. Ms. Lisa.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Stywinner, Director of Planning and Development with the City of Monroe, and I would like to bring before you a zoning map and text amendment request by Jess Perry with Walt Perry Realty for property located at 319 East Windsor Street from Central Business District to Conditional District 319 East Windsor Street. The applicant is requesting a zoning map amendment to allow the property to be utilized for residential purposes, as well as retain all uses within the Central Business District. I'd like to now orient you to the subject property. It is highlighted in blue. Once again, it's located along East Windsor Street. This is East Franklin Street, and it's directly across from the Union County Public Library. The The site is approximately 0.17 acres, and it currently contains an existing 2,624 square foot single-family dwelling with a paved driveway. Once again, the site is zoned Central Business District. Adjacent properties are also zoned Central Business District, OT, Office Transitional, and General Business to the north. This is a photo of the existing single-family dwelling and the site. This is a copy of the future land use map from the Ford Monroe plan. The future land use designation within the Ford Monroe, the land use and transportation plan, designates this area as traditional development land use. The traditional development surrounds the downtown core and is anchored by the city's most historic neighborhoods. The designation allows some small-scale commercial and service uses that support surrounding residences. The design and scale of neighborhoods encourage active living and affords residents the ability to live, work, shop, and play within a walkable community. The conditional district rezoning request for the property located at 319 East Windsor Street to be used for residential purposes as well as retain the uses within the Central Business District is consistent with the Land Use and Transportation Plan and is a reasonable use and in the public interest. This is a map of the adjoining property notification. A rezoning notification sign was posted on December 20th, 2019 at the site, which is 10 days prior to the public hearing as required by state law. And an official rezoning notification letter was mailed to all adjacent property owners within a minimum of 150 feet, which is the blue area. Staff typically goes above the 150 and notifies or mails adjoining property owners that are highlighted in blue. I believe approximately there were 18 properties that were notified of the meeting. Planning Board did recommend approval of the conditional district at 319 East Windsor Street, and a resolution of land development plan compliance is in your packet for your review. I'll be happy to answer questions, and the applicant is here to answer questions as well.
Council have any questions?
I'd be interested in hearing from the applicant.
Thank you, ma'am. This is a public hearing. At this time, we'll, I'm going to call the names as they signed up. Mr. Perry, we hear from you this time, sir. You give us your name and address for a record, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Jess Perry. I'm with Walt Perry Realty, and we represent, well, we're the property manager on the property. We've had this property for some time, and the owner has put in a substantial amount of money in upgrading the property. We would love to have an attorney's office there, some other sort of office. We've had challenges with the parking for this property, but we would like to add some versatility to it, that we constantly have people wanting homes, and so we'd like to add in residential so we can find a good family to put it in there. And of course, in the meantime, if we find somebody who wants to establish an office there, we will welcome that as well. So we'd just like to add on residential to it as well.
Okay. Any questions, Mr. Perry? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mr. King, Michelle King.
We'll try this again. See if I can put it, oh, you cannot see that. So I will still put it up there in hopes that those with Hawkeye seeing can see that. Michelle King, 802 East Franklin Street. Thank you, you are a lifesaver. I'm gonna take you wherever I go. So this section comes again from the downtown revitalization plan. I know we've had a lot of reference and conversation on that. I want to pay special attention to the next to the last bullet. Too many rental properties in Monroe make an unattractive and uncertain market in which to invest. I live downtown. I walk Windsor Street quite a bit. I will tell you there's a property across the street from the property that's in question here that looks to be condemned. It's had code enforcement signs for at least a year, it seems. I could be wrong, but it's at least 6 months. You have the Board of Elections, and then all the individuals around this property. There's an elderly lady in her 90s. I don't know if she's even living there. So I'm not sure who you could have reached and what you got back when you sent these letters of rezoning. I'm not here to oppose this specifically. Here's what I'm here to say. I don't know your intent. I don't know if this gentleman lives in Monroe. We have a lot of rentals people don't take care of. We don't have any rules and procedures, and it's on the shoulders of code enforcement to make sure they keep up with the property the way they're supposed to with accordance with the law. If in fact you are to approve this request and it's used as a rental property, I believe, and I hate to be the bearer of bad news, it's going to fall into the same bucket of rentals that we see in close proximity and around. So I'm asking not necessarily that you deny it, because I know that business is business, but we need to be cognizant of the fact that we've been told we have a lot of rentals that are very unattractive. This hasn't changed since 2008. So if there's another way, if there's something we can do to help this gentleman, I would love to see it a business. I would love to see a person buy it, a family. But the fact is, I guarantee you that's not what's going to happen. So I'm here to voice my concern. I'm sorry I wasn't part of the planning. I did reach out to them when they met on this last month. I just think under the conditions, there should be conditions if you do change it, okay? And I would request the council make some considerations to that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Mayor, do I get to speak again?
I'm sorry?
May I speak again?
Yes, you may if you come to the podium.
Ms. King, first of all, yes, our family's been from this area for generations. We manage about 175 properties. Believe me, I don't want to put a pad tenant in that place. The owner of this property puts more money into properties, rental properties, than she should. We would do our best. We have to screen, run background checks on any applicant. We have an excellent track record of the rentals that we manage. I can't guarantee that every person who goes in there is perfect. Right now, we have people who are, I guess, homeless or vagrant, who are camping out in the back garage area. We want to get somebody in there now. We've had to call the police to come over and file the paperwork in order for us to get the people to go somewhere else. We would like to have somebody in that place. But I assure you, and I invite you to, I'll meet you, I'll be happy to, and show you the condition of the inside of this house. This landlord, I know, has been doing business with us for years. She puts more money into properties than she should. So I ask for your approval. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Is there anyone else here who'd like to speak in favor? Is anyone here who would like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and take action.
I make a motion that we adopt the resolution approving the land development plan compliance.
Okay, I have a motion. Have a second?
Second.
Have a second? Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. That'll pass, okay?
Make a motion to adopt ordinance amending section 156.106.
Second.
Have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, item D.
Motion to adopt ordinance amending section 156.98.
Have a motion? Have a second?
Second, I'm sorry.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that'll pass. I would like to have a update on the Windsor property that Ms. King speaking of across the street from this property. I'd like to have an update of, where they at, where they're going, and when they're gonna get there. It has been there for a while.
That doesn't concern.
Maybe I'm fixing to get that.
I answered.
Yes.
I think we're all speaking of 322 Windsor Street. It's been boarded for quite some time. There is a code enforcement case on the property. After code enforcement investigated the interior of the dwelling, it's in really nice shape. The interior of the dwelling, they have pulled permits and are actively working on, unfortunately, they have worked on the interior before the exterior. So they are currently in the process of repairing the dwelling, and we do get some calls about it from time to time. So we do speak with the owner again to see where they are in the process. So they are actively working on it.
Is there a time frame?
Once you pull a permit, you have 6 months to call in an inspection. If an inspection is not called in within that 6-month time frame, then your permit, if I'm speaking correctly, your permit is null and void. But once you keep working in inspections, then it's good for at least a year.
Okay. Do you know where we are within that year?
I'll have to look. I know, I just looked at it recently, and I believe a September timeframe of when they pulled permits. They were unfortunately doing work without permits, so we were able to stop that and request that they get permits. So they are working on it, and they do have permits now. We are in contact with the owner, and we can certainly touch base with them again.
So technically, they got until next September.
Well, what I'm fixing to say is I know we can't require this, and I understand it, so don't have to explain it to me. Could we not talk to the folks, and I understand that the inside looks great, I've been told that. But can we not encourage them maybe to go out there and do something to the front and finish the rest of it whenever they want to? If they're gonna drag it out, let's finish the front if we can get them to do that. And that way we won't be getting all these questions. And I know we can't require them, they can fix what they want to first. If I was doing a house, I'll fix the outside first and I can go inside and fix the rest of it whenever I want to. But could we not encourage those folks maybe to go out there and do something? This is on Windsor Street downtown.
Yeah. Especially with the science center that's about to be open. It would kind of help.
I mean,
We can have a conversation.
I know that's all we can have, I understand that,
And that's, we know it's across from the Science Center, and that's the reason we initiated the code enforcement case in the first place.
But you know, sometimes we just sit down and talk to people, sometimes it works, if it don't work, we ain't lost anything. It's not gonna cost anything to do it. It's just a matter, and again, I say, I understand the inside looks great, but we're gonna keep getting this same stuff.
So you've actually seen the inside yourself?
I have not seen it inside myself.
I mean, the code person has.
The code enforcement and building inspectors have.
Is it fair to say, Madam Planning Director, that given that the inside's been worked on, is it that the property wouldn't meet the standard for being a dilapidated dwelling at this point under our code?
I can about 90% say that that's the case, yes.
Well, I could say that.
It is no longer a minimum housing case in a dilapidated condition.
I'm not in code enforcement, but I could say that with 100% because it's not 50% dilapidated or 60%. You work on that percentage, and I know what that percentage is, and that's true. No, I can give you 100% on that, and I don't even work for you. But I can tell you this, you know, if they're gonna take 40 years to fix it, we're gonna still get these same questions. We're gonna still get this same Windsor Street downtown. So I would ask them and encourage them, because y'all go out here and paint the front of this thing if you're gonna, and take the rest of your life to do the inside if you want to. That's just the mayor talking.
Mr. Bourne.
I'm on my soapbox.
Mr. Bourne, does that property have any, can they do anything with any grants that we offer downtown, or is that out of the grant? Okay.
Well, I know a lot of things we can't do, but a lot of things if we ask, sometimes things happen. I've seen it work before. But anyway, that is passed. We'll move right along now and get off my soapbox. Item 16.
You moved 16 up, didn't you?
No, move 17.
17 and 18.
We're on 16, zoning map amendment, rezone property located at 1707 Morgan Mill Road.
Good evening, I'm Carrie Mendler with the Planning Department. Tonight, I'm here to present a zoning text and map amendment request by Manny Sadek for the property located at 1707 Morgan Mill Road. The request is to rezone the property from Conditional District North Square 6 to Conditional District 1707 Morgan Mill. The subject property is highlighted in blue. Just to orient you to the site, it is northwest of Morgan Mill Road. Again, like I said, it is highlighted in blue. The Bobcat of Monroe facility is located here, and then to the west or the left side of the property is a Blue Dot Ready Mix facility. The current property is zoned Conditional District North Square 6, and all of the properties surrounding it are zoned General Industrial, which is this purple color, so either side and then across the street on Morgan Mill Road as well. The applicant is requesting a conditional district in order to utilize the existing structure for an event facility. The original conditional district was to allow retail sales in general industrial. Under the current zoning, the property can be used for industrial uses and retail sales, and the applicant is requesting to retain those uses as well as include the event facility as an approved use. There are currently 10 parking spaces on this property that is paved. They do have a parking agreement with the Bobcat of Monroe individual, and to basically utilize their property or their parking lot as needed for their events. The Forward Monroe Land Development and Transportation Plan indicates that this property is located in the community corridor. This map is just a future land use map showing the subject property, again highlighted in blue. All of this pink color is the community corridor. This yellow color is the suburban character area. The community corridor area generally covers most of US 74 and areas adjacent to intersecting major streets. The area serves as a primary conduit to downtown, epicenter of the city's commercial activity, and the spine of the community with critical connections to major employers and activity centers. The proposed use is consistent with the land use plan, and staff is of the opinion that the use is a reasonable one and in the public interest due to the commercial nature of the event center. As far as the neighborhood notification, staff did notify everybody within at least 150 feet of the subject property with a letter 10 days prior to the public hearing. We also posted the property 10 days prior to the public hearing. Again, this is just the APO map or the adjoining property owner map. The subject property is this property with a star. The 150-foot buffer is this greenish color, and then the blue selected highlighted properties are the ones that received letters in the mail, and of course it was posted as well. The planning board did recommend approval of the rezoning, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
How many letters went out?
Approximately 10 letters.
Okay, did you get replies or questions?
I had one individual who had just general inquiry question.
Were there inquiries from people not in that community that use Morgan Mill Road constantly?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Were that just general inquiries from other people who make frequent Morgan Mill Road?
Yeah, it was just a general inquiry of somebody that uses Morgan Mill.
And what was the general consent?
They didn't state any. Yeah, there was no feel for if they were for or against or had concerns. It was just general.
In this proposed event facility, what type of events was it specified?
It's my understanding that the applicant does filming and production currently at this location. He's been there since, I believe, 2014 with permits, and has ventured out into, I guess, filming wrestling competitions, and then uploads those. But of course, with the conditional district, it is just labeled as event facility. So if it's approved, and say he leaves for some reason, a different kind of event facility could go in there for weddings or parties and stuff like that.
And how many cars can it accommodate?
The property itself has 10 parking spaces. But that is one reason they got permission to utilize Bobcat of Monroe's parking lot as needed for events.
Including Bobcat parking, how many cars?
You know what, I don't have that number. They do have a few more parking spaces
Can you
than,
give an estimate of how many?
yeah, actually. Approximately 20 regular and 2 handicap spaces right there. It's about 22.
32 and all.
And then plus the 10, yeah, 32.
You said they got permission at the Bobcat place
Yes.
and some other place. Have they got that in writing, or they just got a handshake on it?
No, they did get a letter in writing with signature.
Okay. A lot of times that goes by the wayside. I've seen that happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for her? Okay. Thank you very much. It is a public hearing. At this time, I'll take them the way they're signed up. At this time, hold on, is it Manny? Am I saying that correct?
Yes, sir.
We recognize you this time. Name and address for a record, please.
Sure. I'm Manny Sodick. First of all, thank you, Mayor and Councilman, for letting me speak. I'm at 1707 Morgan Mill Road. I've been a renter there now for almost 5 years. I'm a local filmmaker, producer, graduated from Western Carolina, born and raised from Charlotte. Really, I wanted to start my own studio, really kind of branch out rather than working from home for so many years. And luckily, a friend of mine found Mr. Perry and his group, and they helped me find a studio back in 2015. Back then I was shooting just weddings, so really we were using it as more of an editing kind of post-production house. Recently, I do car commercials now for South Charlotte Chevy, Rock Hill Buick GMC, so I'm in a lot of corporate production work. So we still use it for editing in the front office part, but our back warehouse part, we would actually like to produce some wrestling shows. We actually have some broadcast connections that we could kind of already kind of entail. So what we want to try to do, honestly, is just bring like an 80s style wrestling show that we could produce in a small facility. We understand, obviously, we can't fit that many people, whatever our fire code would be. Honestly, our goal is just to be able to sell tickets, because wrestlers are independent contractors, so this is really the only way that we could pay them. So that's really the main reason for the zoning change, was just so that we had the ability to sell tickets. We obviously know it's a small building, so we hope, in time that we can grow and realize, hey, we might need a bigger building down the road. So this is obviously something that we're just trying to get off the ground, and we realize that we could do it in-house rather than renting out a bigger facility.
How many people you say you put in the building?
I would say total, around 80 or 90.
How many tickets you gonna sell, 500?
I wish.
What I'm getting at is this: you'll sell 80 to 90 tickets or whatever the fire code gives you.
Yes, sir.
And 300 more will buy, and they'll be in the parking lot and all over Morgan Mill Road out there.
Sure. We normally have security and off-duty officers at our events, so we are kind of ahead of that curve. So we know that we have a line and everything, so there's a cutoff point in that sense. We haven't had more than 30 people at a show right now, so we would hope to get to that at some point, and maybe at that point we could rent the high school or the armory for something that big. But like I said, this is really just for a production that we're trying to put together. Like I said, I'm a local filmmaker, and I would love to keep this in Monroe if I could. Thank you for your time.
I don't have a problem with your filmmaking. Don't have a problem with your business. Really, only thing I just want to be sure that we can seat 75 people and don't sell 500 tickets.
Yes, sir.
If I know what goes on out there. There'll be 300 in the parking lot and 200 standing in Morgan Mill Road.
Yes, sir. I understand completely.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Sure, sure. We typically, like our online sales, we have a cutoff where we limit, obviously if there's 50 tickets we can only sell, that's only what we sell online, but the most we've sold online is like 5 tickets right now, so we're just not at that level. Hopefully if we get to that point, then maybe we could, talk to the armory or the high school about doing a bigger event, but initially this is just to really produce that small show that we want to do.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Council have any questions? No, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. Perry, we recognize you again, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Jess Perry, Watt Perry Realty again. Mr. Sadek came to us 5 years ago?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he chose us over Mecklenburg County. He said, I don't want to be in Charlotte. And as he said, he's done a lot of productions. He's very ambitious. And actually, he's got invitations from cable, right? How many different countries are interested right now?
Right now, there's a potential that we could be in 30 countries.
Right. He doesn't need a giant audience. I guess it's like the old style we used to see coming out of Charlotte, with the wrestling. You don't need that many people. I mean, they can kind of amplify that. I believe what he's aiming for more is the cable market. Am I right there? So that's what he's going for. He's been an excellent tenant of ours over the years. I believe it'd be a good thing.
Any questions for Mr. Perry? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
It is a public hearing. Anyone here who would like to speak in favor? Hearing none. Anyone who'd like to speak in opposition? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing and take action.
I move to adopt resolution approving land development plan compliance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Move to adopt ordinance amending section 156.106.
Second.
Thank you very much.
Have a second.
Motion to adopt ordinance.
You already
It
have a
was on B.
second.
It was on B.
For B, yes,
Yeah.
you had a second.
I didn't hear the
for
second.
B.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item C.
I did that, the motion to adopt ordinance amending section 156.98.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
D.
That's it, you got,
That was the,
that was D, she got it.
Okay. That'll approve. That's approved. Thank you, sir. 17 and 18 is done. We're going to 19. Item 19, zoning map request to rezone property located along Fowler Secret Road.
Good evening, I'm Carrie Mendler with the Planning Department. Tonight, I am presenting a zoning text and map amendment request. The applicant is requesting the rezoning in order to develop 48 single-family lots. The total area of the project is 55.71 acres. To orient you to the site, it is located west of Fowler Seacrest Road. Here's Fowler Seacrest. The 4 parcels in question for the rezoning are located here and highlighted in blue. Or, yes, highlighted in blue. The subject properties are currently zoned R40, which is single-family, low-density. The zoning to the south is the conditional district, the Palms, which is the Woodlands Creek subdivision. There's also conditional district Heritage of Union County, which is the Pruitt Health Facility. All of the tan colors that you see are the R40 zoning district. The gray colors that you see to the north and south are the R20 single-family low-density residential districts. And then this pink to the west is the general business zoning district. As I mentioned, the applicant is requesting the rezoning in order to develop 48 single-family lots. The total area of the project is 55.71 acres. The density of this project is 0.86 units per acre, and the minimum lot size for the single-family lots is 20,000 square feet, with an average lot size of 25,788 square feet. Just for reference, that's about a half-acre lot. The project is required to provide at least 12.5% open space, which would equal 6.96 acres. The total area of open space provided is 9.6 acres, or 17.23%. The open space will also include some kind of activity amenities, such as a pocket park, gazebo, playfield, walking trails with benches, or similar. However, the final selection has not been chosen at this time. And just to orient you again, Fowler Seacrest Road is here at this location. This orange color you see is the proposed active open space. All of this light green color you see is additional open space. And then the 50-foot buffer, stream buffer, has been provided along the stream to the north of the property. Each home will be provided with at least 2 yard trees, and street trees will also be provided at a rate of 1 tree per lot. Each home will also have a 2-car garage. All front-load garages will have carriage-style trim and/or hardware that mimics carriage-style doors. Additionally, all corner lots will have a side-load garage totaling a minimum of 12.5%, or a total of 6 of the lots. within the 48 lot subdivision. Driveways will be paved with asphalt or concrete and will be able to accommodate at least 4 vehicles. A 5-foot wide sidewalk will be provided along both sides of the interior roads throughout the development, and an 8-foot wide sidewalk will be provided along the frontage of Fowler Seacrest Road as well. The development will have one entrance off of Fowler Seacrest. They are also proposing a connection through the existing stub out that was constructed when the roads were put into Woodland Street. This is just an image of that stub out right here. So this property on the other side of the fence is the property in question, and this side that you see is the Woodlands Creek subdivision. Due to the number of proposed lots, the North Carolina Department of Transportation and the City Engineering Department did not require a traffic impact analysis for this project. Sorry guys, it's that time of year, your throat gets a little. This developer does not have a builder at this time, and as such does not have specific elevations to show for this rezoning. However, the developer has provided specific notes regarding the exterior materials and home size. The developer is proposing the homes to be a minimum of 1,500 heated square feet. The proposed exterior building materials will include fiber cement, stone, synthetic stone, brick and/or brick veneer, and at least 2 of those listed materials will be provided on the front and corner side facades of the dwelling. The development does fall within the Porter Ridge Elementary, Piedmont Middle, and Piedmont High School attendance areas for the 2019-2020 school year. The applicant did hold a neighborhood meeting on September 10th of 2019. Approximately 10 households attended this meeting. 3 rezoning notification signs were posted for this property, and property owners within at least 150 feet of the subject properties were notified by letter 10 days prior to the meeting as well. So this is the notification map. The properties are indicated by a star. So this large property, this one here, and then this star is straddling the 2 properties here that are included in the rezoning as well. All of the highlighted parcels were ones that we sent letters to. We posted 2 signs on Fowler Seacrest, as well as a zoning sign at the stub out that faces the Woodlands Creek subdivision. The land development plan indicates this area is suburban. Residential uses typically take the form of neighborhoods with uniform housing types and densities. A mix of housing types and lot sizes is preferred in the suburban locations. Multimodal connectivity between neighborhoods should be emphasized, and the density for suburban residential is 2 to 4 units per acre. The proposed project is not consistent with the future land use plan because the density for suburban is 2 to 4 units per acre, and as I mentioned, the density for this project is less than that at 0.86 units per acre. However, we do believe the project is a reasonable use and in the public interest because it will provide a larger lot size than what has been proposed in this area, and additionally, it is providing the connectivity between neighborhoods as called for in the land use plan. Planning Board did recommend approval, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
So these houses would be possibly 1,500 square feet?
The minimum they've listed is 1,500 square feet, which is in line with what a lot of our projects that we're seeing.
How many cars, estimated cars would pull into Fowler Secret?
That I don't know. It is 40.
If it were 2 per house?
Yeah, if it's 48 lots, so 90 something, 96.
But a traffic study was not
warranted, no, not by DOT or the city.
You cannot get out on 74 from Fowler Seacrest now, wait 2 or 3 stoplights. So I would think it does make a difference. And secondly, connectivity, I hate. You're talking about running through another subdivision, which kids are gonna be out there playing, and somebody eventually is gonna get run over. I hate connectivity. I don't think that's good. I think the subdivision ought to stand on its own 2 feet, and that's my personal opinion.
And that person don't like the sandwich developments, you know, behind another development, and there's put behind that. And I have a deep concern for the city being able to provide adequate fire and police protection. You know, we need more policemen and firemen now. And I'm thinking that we're gonna overload our ability to provide sufficient services. But I'll vote the way I think.
Okay, it is public hearing. Any more questions, her, the lady? Hear none, thank you very much. Here's a public hearing. I'm gonna take the names as it's signed. Corey McCain, I have first on the agenda. If you'd like to speak, please. Mr. McCain, if you will give us your name and address for the record, please.
How's everyone doing tonight?
Hey, good to see you, Corey.
My name's Corey McCain. I live at 34 Neely Evans Court. I am directly across from the attachment from where this neighborhood will attach into our subdivision. I have two small young children. I have one on the way. We're extremely excited. Our children get out in this cul-de-sac. They play baseball. Our children don't sit inside. We're a large neighborhood. We have 99 homes. We generally have 30 kids in the cul-de-sac in front of our house that play stickball or other sports. I'm in opposition of this neighborhood as long as it is connected to our neighborhood. If this neighborhood is not connected to ours, I will be for it. There is a 30-foot buffer zone that our neighborhood currently owns between the two neighborhoods to distinguish the difference between the two of them. I ask the city council, please deny this as long as it is connected to our neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Corey. I have a Madison McCain sign. Your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening. I'm Madison McCain at 3410 Neely Evans Court also. I'm the HOA president in Woodlands Creek. As my husband mentioned, we currently have 99 completed homes, but also an additional about 15 lots that could potentially be developed. We do live directly in the cul-de-sac that this proposed neighborhood is going to drive through. In our cul-de-sac alone, 12 children reside just in this circle. Our kids play outside every single day. Kickball, bike riding, impromptu kickball, I mean, just games and games outside. Just with our 99 completed homes alone, we already have had speeding issues, traffic issues, utilize the police department to come out and monitor that already without the additional 96 plus cars that they're going to put through our neighborhood. The cul-de-sac that is being mentioned is not technically built or wide enough for two-way traffic to handle 96 more cars coming through it and utilizing it on a daily basis. The route that it would take people through our neighborhood, it will pass a bus stop that 2 buses utilize in the morning and 2 buses utilize in the afternoon. It's also going to go by our amenity center where our pool is located, where in the summer you have children walking back and forth, families walking back and forth to utilize that every day. So again, we are not in opposition of growth and development, and we realize that it's coming, and we want Monroe, you know, to grow and have this development, but we are in strong opposition and ask you to be in strong opposition of the connection to our existing neighborhood.
Thank you very much. Christopher McCain.
Good evening, City Council. My name is Christopher McCain. I live at 2531 Logan, Caroline Lane. Again, the same sentiment is being echoed. I would like to see that the neighborhood on the back side of us has a cul-de-sac right there past the fence where you guys had seen the zoning sign posted. If they cul-de-sac that off, we'd be for the neighborhood. We would prefer this type of neighborhood to come into the backside of us while we have the current city council that we do have, rather than waiting until the next city council comes in and maybe that becomes apartment complex, high density housing, and makes it more unsafe for the children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Joe Singer.
Hi, my name is Joe Singer, and I'm a resident at 3312 Fowler Seacrest Road, Monroe. Thank you very much for hearing me. When I recently discussed these situations of urban sprawl with a person whom I greatly respect, he brought up the question of the greater good. And so I've thought long and hard about the greater good of this urban sprawl on our city. And so I have to ask myself, is it for the greater good to increase traffic on roads that are already holding more traffic than they were built to handle in the first place? Is it really for the greater good to overcrowd our schools? Is it for the greater good to pollute our air? To overcrowd our schools, to increase the flow of garbage into our landfill, destroy 100-plus-year-old trees and natural habitat? Is it really for the greater good that our children and grandchildren will never see a great horned owl or a red-tailed hawk outside of the Carolina Raptor Center because there is no wildlife out there anymore? Is that really for the greater good? I recently had a back set in my asthma, and I started checking the air quality in Monroe, North Carolina every day, and you would be amazed at how poor the air quality is already in our city. And it's probably worse on Fowler Seacrest where I live because there's a truck stop adjacent to it there on Rocky River Road. In addition to all these cars that we're going to add to our streets there and all the exhaust that they put out. I'm opposed to any development on Fowler Seacrest Road. We already have more cars than we can possibly handle. In addition to the impact on our environment, the impact on our schools, the impact on garbage and water supplies and all those things. Thank you very much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Ms. Singer. Eddie Moore.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Eddie Moore. I am representing the applicant, Mr. Jennings Glenn. I am with McAdams. We are a civil engineering and land design firm. My address is 3430 Torrington Way, Suite 110 in Charlotte. Do appreciate this opportunity to come before you. Yes, during the September community meeting, there was a lot of discussion regarding that one particular connection between the two neighborhoods, and I'll address that in a minute. My client, Mr. Glenn, he owns the property in addition to his mother and his aunt. His vision of this property is not smaller lots. He came in and he wanted lots that were a minimum of 25,000 square feet, which is a good transition between the woodlands to the south and the R40 to the north and to the west. This is his vision. He agreed to the number of prescriptive conditions as part of this rezoning request, where there is no vinyl siding that is offered as an exterior building material. Yes, he does not have a builder. His plan is to get the entitlement, and the reason for getting the entitlement is building value with this rezoning. Yes, the lots are 25,000 square feet. It's very close to an R20. But with this process, it does guarantee that when he does have a buyer that is interested in this property, that they have to follow all the conditions that he wants to put onto his property. And that's why the density is much less than what you have seen in the past. And the lot size is, again, 25,000 square feet with a density of less than 1. To talk a little bit about connectivity, I have, as a design firm, you think I would have something a little bit better than this to show you. That's all that I had at the time. The connection point in question is right here in relation to the site. Connectivity, yes, it's a hot topic in a lot of communities, of having it and also not having it as well. The way to build connectivity within any community is through development. We would like to have the connection, because if you look here at the map, at the overall map, it just doesn't benefit my client's property. It benefits the Woodlands Creek as well. If you take a look as to how, if you look at how the network could be in the future, of having this connection point, this will allow folks in Woodlands Creek to make their way through the site, to get onto Fowler Sechrist, to get to James Hamilton Road. In the same, within the site, we could come through Woodlands Creek, make our way to Sechrist Price Road, and then to 74. The big unknown is this 51-acre piece that is right here. There is a public right-of-way that is right here that stubs into the property. When this is developed, that public road will continue. So that's how we do build connectivity through in communities, is through development. But with the issue of the plan that we do have here, with the issue of this one connection point, we would prefer to have that connection point to benefit not just these new residents, but the existing residents within this area. The best way to disperse traffic is through various means of traveling in different places where you can travel to get where you need to go. We are willing, if that is a sticking point with council, we are willing to hold the right-of-way back, have it cul-de-sac, where there is not a connection, but do request that we do have at least the opportunity for emergency access through the back of the subdivision should that be needed. Hopefully never needed, but that could be done with a gate on both sides of the road with emergency services personnel having the ability to make that connection. That is really all that I do have, and I will be glad to answer any questions that you do have.
Council, have any questions?
Yeah, you said you were the brother of the developer?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Who are you?
No, I am with the civil design firm who created the
But you're
layout.
not the developer?
No, ma'am.
Well, the developer couldn't be here tonight.
No, he is the property owner, and he and his mother and his aunt own the property, and they are looking to get the property rezoned for this particular design and layout, build the value into the property, have the conditions on, and then sell it to a builder who would have to follow all of these conditions.
Okay, y'all discussed your presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
One more I would have on the item of connectivity. And would you have something else to offer these people except what you just stated?
To not have a physical connection?
Right.
I think having that was the big source of contention, was having that road connect to, even though the right-of-way is to the property line.
You suggested that you would want to go along with 2 gates and make it available if emergency traffic call for it and things of this.
Yes, if that is the desire of the council, that's something that could be made a condition.
I think the gate is there now, isn't it?
Well, it's a gate so you can't access the property, but
Right.
having,
This would have to be on that side as well, then, another
Yes.
gate possibly, and
or at least one where coming to and from, but at least having an emergency connection between the two developments.
I would ask Mr. McCain, putting a gate up there, what are y'all's thoughts on that?
Putting a gate up there to allow for emergency traffic will only increase our odds of attaching the street at some point down the road.
Okay.
If this is not cul-de-sac at the end, at some point, that road will connect. And our contention is to stop the connection.
Or to have a pedestrian only.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I guess in response to that, yes, we are willing to cul-de-sac it, so it will be a physical cul-de-sac, curb and gutter around the entire, but having the emergency gate and the ability for the connection, but not as through the,
What about a cul-de-sac and not putting a gate?
if that is the council's wish, then yes, we can agree to that as well. I'm just trying to build in the most public safety that we can as part of this development.
Mayor, you're not addressing the fact that you can't get out. Literally, I already know, I live out there. It takes me 1, 2 to 3 stoplights to get out. Now I started going down to Rocky River Road. There will eventually be a super street maybe that'll make a difference, because you won't have cars trying to turn left and turn right and turn left. There'll eventually be some wrecks in there. I hadn't heard one word about that at all. It is horrible. It's not bad, it's horrible. And the thing that really baffles me is most people's biggest investment is their house. And all of a sudden you build a house, you got it there 15, 20 years, and the next thing you know, you can't even get up and down the road. And don't tell me the state should not have come in, and even the city, and address that. It's wrong. I don't care whether you like it or anybody else. It's wrong. That's all I got to say on that.
Okay. Any other questions of Mr. Moore? Thank you, sir.
Thank you, council.
Okay. The next I have signed up is Rock. We recognize you, sir, at this time.
Mayor,
Yes.
council members, thank you. My name is Rock Routinen. I live at 2625 Logan Caroline Lane. That picture you saw of the gate, that was taken out front of my driveway. I was blessed by the Lord to be able to purchase that property in June of this year, knowing that I had finally woods behind me. We knew there was farm back there, and we weren't ignorant. We knew eventually it would be developed, and so we were fine with that. We were told that that road at the time was used by the homeowner, the landowner, to move farm equipment once or twice a year. So I now have this property, and all this traffic is going to be going right past my front house to get to 74. I know I'm kicking a dead horse. Everyone's already spoken to this point. But it's just extremely disheartening because it's going to absolutely compromise the integrity of our neighborhood. What we purchased, I'm not a rich man by any means, but majority of my money is into this property for my 2 young children. And it's a blessing that they actually want to go outside and play. Can I go outside and play? Please, and I can sit out there and they can run around, they play tag, like they all stated, the same thing. The neighborhood itself sounds wonderful, and sounds like somewhere I would like to live. But please, don't use my front road as a driveway through to get to the 74. Please.
Any questions, Mr. Rowe? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Jamie?
Hello, Mayor, Council. Thank you for your time. I live at 2618 Woodlands Creek Drive, and I also have some reservations and concerns about that driveway. My husband and I moved here 4 years ago from Youngstown, Ohio, in order to get a better life for our children and more opportunities. One of the biggest things to us is safety. We left our home and all of our family in Youngstown for a safe place for our family to live. We've put extensive time into searching for a place to call home and build roots here. We searched Union County, Mecklenburg, Cabarrus, and Stanley. It was actually, we almost didn't choose Union, but it was our last search. We came down and went down into Woodlands Creek, and as soon as we pulled down there and saw that all the things on our list, number one being safety, was addressed. I'm married to a police officer, and so safety is just a top priority in our family. And one of our highlights to wanting to come to this community was that there's one entrance in, one entrance out. We know our neighbors, we know our cars, we know our habits and routines, and that has created a group sense of safety. A funny thing, the other day, my husband actually had a different car, and he was getting ready to leave, but he stopped when my son was about a little bit down the street around the corner. He stopped to say something to him. Well, a few minutes later, I had a frantic phone call from my neighbor saying, some unknown car just pulled up to your son and was talking to him. And so I started laughing. I'm like, don't worry, it's my husband. You don't need to be alarmed. My fear with this connecting road is that it is going to bring in so much extra traffic. Those aren't going to be cars and people that we recognize. My children right now, and on top of the topic of safety, is that I'm at ease. I sit on my front porch and watch my kids play up and down the sidewalk. They do group games. When a ball rolls into a street, I don't worry about a car or traffic zooming in, and worrying about that being a hazard. And also too, my husband works midnights, and there are also many other police officers in our thing, and I feel safe knowing that my neighbors are looking out for me. We know who's coming in and out. Where we recognize immediately if there's, something going on that's, someone who's not supposed to be in there or something out of the ordinary. And so I have peace at night knowing that while my husband's at work and I'm in my home by myself, that if my security system were to fail me, I have that built-in security of my neighborhood. And so I do, for the security of our neighborhood and for our children, I do worry about that, the traffic that will bring. I'm not against the development, but I do very much worry about that, and it would strongly be a consideration if it did bring in that extra traffic that we would move. Thank you.
Ma'am, before you leave, can you give your name for the?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry, Jamie Herbelich.
An address, I couldn't hear it either, but I suspect you said you lived in Woodland Creek, is that right?
I live on Woodlands Creek, yeah,
Yeah.
2618.
Okay, all right.
She gave it when she came up to the
Okay,
front.
I just couldn't hear, I'm sorry.
Okay. very
I'm
good.
old, can't hear like I used to.
Sorry,
Thank you very much. Stephen? Recognize you, sir.
Mr. Mayor, City Council. I appreciate the opportunity to speak. My name is Stephen Sechrist. I live at 3402 Fowler Sechrist Road. I feel like I'm under assault from all these developers. We just recently went through one on the end of James Hamilton. There's two on Fowler Sechrist right now that I know of. This one sounds a whole lot better than the one across the street from me, the Mendenhall Oaks, which is twice as many houses on half as much acreage. But what I'm really concerned about is, as Mr. Kazai says, traffic, you can't get out on either end now. I'm a quarter of a mile from Secret Shortcut, and it's not unusual for traffic on Secret Shortcut, on Fowler Secrets to back up to my driveway there. Some days when I go get the mail, my mailbox is across the street. It takes me 10 minutes to get across the street. There's so much traffic. Apparently, Secret Shortcut has become the way to avoid all the traffic lights on 74, because the traffic on Secret Shortcut is unbelievable, and a lot of the cars use Fowler Secrets if you're in the northern part of the county to get to. Is the quickest way to get to 74. You come through the street that I live on. As I say, I'm not opposed to all development. It's just that I feel like this one is better than the Mendenhall Oaks that I'm afraid is coming, because we'll be talking about that again with you in another couple of months, I'm sure. But I appreciate it, and like I say, I'm really, really concerned about the traffic on these streets that are not intended to handle this much traffic. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sechrist. Zach?
Mr. Mayor and council members, I appreciate you allowing me to speak today. My name is Zach Bevilacqua, and I live at 2702 Woodlands Creek Drive. I'm the proud father of 5 children. My wife is an angel, obviously, because she has to deal with the 6th child with me. And of our 5 children, 4 of them are 12 years old or younger. The 12-year-old and the 5-year-old are rambunctious little boys that like to ride their bikes all over the neighborhood. In the summertime, we live about 4 spaces from the pool. And we moved there knowing the pool was coming. We were one of the original homeowners in Woodlands Creek as the neighborhood was just being developed. And we moved there knowing everything was going in, because we knew we were going to be in a small, tight-knit community. Me and my neighbors are here with me. And I worry tremendously about connectivity through my neighborhood. While a gentleman over here spoke and said that connectivity is beneficial for both neighborhoods, I'm failing to see where the benefit comes in to Woodlands Creek for connectivity. I see that as kind of a one-way street, because, I worry my sons when they're riding their bikes, and somebody who wants to get home from work after a rough day is going to come through that neighborhood. Instead of following the 25, it's going to be 35, it's going to be 40, because they're not worried about what's going on. They're just trying to get home to their families. They come through the neighborhood, my son's out riding his bike, running ahead of me to the pool, as we do many summer days. And all of a sudden, we have a much worse situation on our hands. The other thing that I don't think any of our neighbors have addressed yet is on Seekers Price Road, we've already have a whole new development going in, which is going to be a rental development at the front end of our neighborhood that's, I believe, has already been approved. And we haven't even discussed the traffic flow of that as it comes onto Seekers Price Road. A little, it's a 2-lane road, but really it's a 1-lane road. That people go out and walk, and people from our neighborhood are walking up and down every night. And so we're going to have traffic from that new development with all the rental properties, traffic from our neighborhood, and then traffic from a new neighborhood also. I also don't see a problem with the neighborhood. I just don't see connectivity as a 2-way street. I see it as a 1-way street.
Okay. Thank you, sir. One other is that Wilson, Martin Wilson? Mr. Wilson? Recognize you at this time, sir.
I'm good. Mark Weedoff, 3404 New Lands Court. Thank you for letting me speak. I live in the cul-de-sac in question next to the McCain family. We moved here last year, moved 500 miles to relocate for my career, and we were very particular where we wanted to move because we lived in about 15 acres in the middle of nowhere. So the kids have always been used to just doing what they want to do outside. So we went back into Williams Creek and found this place we knew right away is where we wanted to be, right? So I've got 5 kids. 3 of them are pretty much on their own. We have a 5 and 8-year-old also. We got bored and decided to, let's have a couple more, right? So all of our kids are about the same age in that cul-de-sac, all in that 4 to 10-year range. So to their point, it's every day. They play every day, right? So we've all kind of drove that hammer in the ground discussing that. Well, Mr. Keziah spoke about your home being your biggest investment, right? So if you're a family, your faith, your home's probably right there along with that. Well, people bought those homes in that subdivision, that cul-de-sac, because of the traffic, because of the privacy and the safety. Well, if we allow traffic to go through there, it could also affect our home value, right? And there'll probably some people would probably be to the point they might want to sell their home, even at a loss, because they've lost that privacy and that safety. So not only do we lose the safety of their kids playing and so forth, we could also possibly lose the financial equity of our homes with that coming through there. So to this guy's point, there's no benefit at all to Williams Creek. That's just a sales pitch. So what we really want to do is keep our safe neighborhood, keep our home value, and more power to that neighborhood. That's great. Growth is good, but don't detract from people that's already settled where they want to be. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
That's all I have signed up. Is anyone else who would like to speak in opposition? Yes, sir. We recognize you, sir.
Well, sir, good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Council. My name is Greg Gerard. I live at 2518 Logan Caroline Lane. I live at the opposite end of this cul-de-sac where this connector has taken place, and I'm in favor of the neighborhood, of the development, but I, too, am not in favor of the connection. I am the vice president of the HOA community, and down in our end of the neighborhood, we have about 12 kids that have moved in. My wife and I have lived there 3 years. And with them talking about doing this gate, I don't see that as a benefit. I don't see the need for that. They talk about safety. The way that they just recently reconstructed Rocky River Road, the fire apparatus would have no reason to come into our neighborhood in order to get to that neighborhood. They would come over Rocky River and come up through James Hamilton and then into Fowler. There's no reason to come into our neighborhood. With our pool where it is, our neighborhood is small enough, even though we have almost 100 homes, where in the summer people are out walking. People are out in the streets. My wife and I, we run, we exercise. We're looking at least 96 cars, if you do the simple math, plus the other neighborhoods that would go in. That is going to be used as a shortcut to bypass the intersection up at Fowler, Sechrist, and 74, to bypass the loop going around Fowler, Sechrist to get over to Sechrist shortcut. So again, I'm opposed to it, and I ask that we have your support in that matter.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Yes, sir.
My name is Kevin Sechrist. I live at 4621 Sechrist Shortcut Road. I grew up in this city, and I grew up in the area that they're proposing. My father is the one that's trying to sell the property to Mendenhall Oaks. I grew up here. I remember when Fowler Secrest was rock road. It wasn't paved. And rode my bicycles. My brothers and I rode our bicycles up and down that road, and even on Secret Shortcut at one time, believe it or not. And it just, I'm not opposed to progress either. And this development here looks a lot better than what's being proposed to go behind me. I have 3.5 acres that I bought at my grandparents' place from my father, and so I have 3.5 acres there. And they're talking about the connectivity. Yes, that will be absolutely a failure, because the traffic trying to get off of Fowler Secrest at 74, you have to wait forever to be able to get onto it. Then to get off to Fowler Secrest at Secret Shortcut, you have to wait forever to get off it. I don't even come home that way anymore. I go up Rocky River and come back around so I can even get in my driveway. It takes me so long to get out of my driveway at any time of the day that it's just, it's frustrating. So I just want to just reiterate all of that. And somebody that's been here for almost 50 years in that spot, I just wanted to go on record how that I'm opposed to that also.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else who'd like to speak? Yes, sir. 3 minutes or less, please.
Yes, sir. I'll be very brief. Thank you again, Eddie Moore. I mean, the reason for this rezoning is not for this road connection. I mean, that is not the purpose. You've heard a lot of people talk of, not having the connectivity. That is something that we are willing to have a cul-de-sac. If you do not think that a emergency gate is necessary, that is fine. We're just trying to be good neighbors. And if connectivity is something that in the community that is not, I don't want to say not important, but not viewed as something as part of the design of a neighborhood, because it will affect the neighbors. Yes, we do understand that, but I do want to make it perfectly clear that the purpose is for Mr. Glenn to build value in his development so he can sell it and have a very quality development there. But we are more than willing to have a cul-de-sac and terminate that road and not have any connection at all. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else who'd like to speak?
Mayor.
Hearing none, we'll close the.
Motion to, motion.
Can we have some
Time out.
comment?
Motion.
I need to close the public hearing.
Okay.
All right. We close the public hearing to take action.
Motion to adopt resolution denying land development plan.
Second.
Wait, what was the motion?
You said to
Yeah.
make,
I said motion to adopt resolution denying land development plan compliance.
I second it.
And there was a second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? You opposed? Okay. Got one.
Okay, motion to deny zoning map amendment.
All right. We got you.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I
Item D.
opposed the first one. I took the other one.
It's whatever you wish to do. Hey, well, actually, do we, Councilman Gordon, did you oppose the?
I oppose the motion.
Thank you. I just wanted to verify that.
Yeah.
So that the clerk.
And let me just say this, I'm not trying to, I lived in this area all my life too. I rode horses on Secret Shortcut to visit my friends because they were too far away from me to ride my bike. I get it that there's a lot of development wanting to go on in this area. It's on the Charlotte side of our city. People work there. They need to come and go. I believe that this is a pretty good quality development with nice sized lots, nice requirements for houses, and really not that many lots, 48. Now, I get it that it's a problem getting out onto Fowler Secrest and to 74. And then, so it's not that I don't hear this. I agree with these people on the connectivity. This gentleman has agreed, as far as I'm concerned, to do something about that, which is not have any connectivity. Connectivity is typically done for public safety reasons, basically. But cars will move if there is there. So the fact that he's willing to give up that, and the fact that this is a nice subdivision, certainly above a minimum, and it's pretty low in lots, is the reason that I think it's a good development, and I would approve it. But, so that's the reason I voted against it. I just want you people to know why.
Okay,
You don't live out there, Freddie.
it's been voted on and it failed.
Yep.
Okay. Item 20, outside city customer water service, request Town of Unionville.
Father will be dead 2 years tomorrow.
Okay.
That guy did.
How's the barbecue been? It's good.
Everybody's welcome to come.
See you, Corey.
Yeah, he cooked barbecue. Hey, brother. How you, sir?
See, Ray.
Okay, ready to go.
Mayor and Council, Russell Colbath, Water Resource Director. For your consideration this evening is an interlocal agreement with the Town of Unionville that will govern how we address outside city water and sewer requests for properties that are located in the Unionville town limits. Further, this evening there are 2 specific requests for outside city water and sewer service for specific properties that are identified in your staff report. As a matter of background, Water Resource Department occasionally receives requests for water and sewer service for properties outside Monroe. Anytime this occurs and they're not good candidates for voluntary annexation, we do bring them to City Council, and they also require Union County Board of Commissioners approval. Recently, we received the 2 requests for outside water and sewer service for parcels located in Unionville, and those parcels are described in your packet. Myself and the city manager met with Unionville officials and to discuss those requests, and after that meeting, staff was directed to prepare a draft interlocal agreement that would provide a framework for these requests, these specific requests, and then any future requests. We did bring a draft of this interlocal agreement to the Public Enterprise Committee at their October meeting, and the PEC did approve moving forward with finalizing the agreement. The Town of Unionville and Union County have reviewed the draft and have provided recommended changes, and these changes have been incorporated into the final agreement that is in your packet. There are a number of motions recommended in the staff report. Staff recommends that those motions be approved, and with that I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Any questions, Mr. Russ?
Motion to approve interlock agreement.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, that passed. Thank you, sir.
Motion to approve outside city water and sewer service to parcel 09-102-007B for 1 new single-family home.
Second.
Have a second. All in favor?
Motion to approve outside city water and sewer service to parcel 09-102-007B for 1 new single-family home.
Second.
Have a motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Motion to authorize city manager to execute documents.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. That passed. Thank you. Item 21, recommendation appointments, planning board.
Okay, recommendation, motion to appoint Richard Ali to a full term on the planning board to replace Drew Lawrence with an effective date of January 1, 2020, and an expiration date of 12/31/2024.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? Any opposed? Hearing none, that's passed. Okay, anything else council has? That completes the agenda. If not, I'll take a motion.
I move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, second. All in favor? We adjourn.